Right, this is Tiffany, and I'm here with Jana Hunter of Lower Dens. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Close enough.
Okay. Thanks for taking the time to do this interview today.
My pleasure.
So, I heard that you guys just got back from a co op in Burlington, Vermont. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, we went there the last time that we were on tour, and we drove in last night from Canada, stayed out just outside of Burlington, and woke up a little early to go to this co-op.
Is this a co op you've been to before?
Yeah, it's a co-op that we stumbled upon the last time we were out this way.
What's the name of the co op?
It's called Onion River Co-op.
Okay. And is that typical for Lower Dens to stop by co ops on the tour?
When we can, yeah. I mean, it's the kind of thing where hopefully we're lucky enough to find somebody that belongs to one or that is kind of knowledgeable, or to run into a musician who has a recommendation. But yeah, when we can, we try to find local co-ops and farmers markets, farm stands, whatever we can to kind of get fresh local food.
Yeah, and what did you end up getting today?
Oh, I got, my favorite thing was this cheese. I think it's called Winnemere. I can't remember the name of the dairy, but I have a kind of a cheese thing, and this cheese was in the French style of kind of the orange rind, round cheeses that have
Okay.
like a really long, slow, incredibly intense finish, and it was like that, but like stronger than anything that I've had in maybe forever. It was amazing.
So you just got a block of cheese?
Yeah, a little wedge
Okay.
of cheese, and spread it around. I mean, not literally, but shared it with the other members of the
Yeah.
band. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, if you have time, there's a place really close to here called Cardulo's.
Mm-hmm.
That's a specialty shop that has lots of cheese. A lot of people, like locals, will go there.
I love cheese. Okay.
I don't know if you're
I'll see.
cheesed out for today, but
I might be, but we're back here soon enough.
yeah.
I'm sure we will be. I'll remember that.
Okay. So I know that Lower Dens played with Belle and Sebastian a bunch of shows earlier this year. How was touring in the UK?
This particular tour was fantastic, especially in terms of food, because they have such a large crew touring with them that it's economically more feasible for them to eat healthy. They bring a caterer with them. So there was a woman named Sharon who runs her own catering company, and she had a cook with her, and then they would like hire a couple of people when they rolled into town, and they were cooking breakfast, lunch, and dinner for them. We got to have dinner with them every day, and every dinner was 4 separate, fully planned meals, plus
Courses.
a couple of salads. Not courses, like 4 different entrees
Oh, wow.
served with their own sides, and all of it was really wonderfully done. It was like having an excellent home cooked meal every single night, and with salads and soups and desserts. It was amazing. It
Yeah.
was really amazing. Yeah, it was one of the things we looked forward to most every day.
So basically, the food was provided through the catering every stop of the tour.
Yeah, for dinner anyway. For other meals we were on our own. And one of the great things about the UK is they have really good roadside food. In particular, this one chain called Waitrose. You can stop there, like you go to a truck stop, but there's a Waitrose there, and you can get smoked fish. You can get
wow.
unsweetened fresh coconut chunks. You can get all kinds of. I was getting like calamari every day. It's great, and it's inexpensive, and it goes to show you that that's possible,
Yeah.
and coming back to the States and going to, seeing the version of that we have here is a little hard.
What is the American version of that?
I mean, it's, you go and there's there's a sandwich. There's one kind of sandwich, and it has, ingredients that are indistinguishable by anything but the way that their appearance, they're indistinguishable by flavor or texture. And it's a sad approximation. It's something you put in your body because your body requires sustenance, and that is
Right.
the only reason. Or you wait until you can go to a grocery store, which is what we prefer to do.
Grocery stores over restaurants or food
Definitely.
stops.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and partly for economic reasons, but more often because you know what exactly you're putting into your body, and that's it's a really good antidote to a largely very sedentary lifestyle where people offering you a lot of booze all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It helps a lot to have some sort of dedication to fresh local food and also dedication to like activity, some sort of daily activity, which sounds really boring, but it just makes life so much better on the road.
And by daily activity, you mean seeking out the co-op or something
Or exercise,
separate, like jumping rope or something, or
running. A lot of us in this band run because
Oh,
that's
that's great.
the easiest, it's the easiest form of exercise.
like after pre-show, post-sound check, or how does that
Usually
work?
right in the morning.
Okay,
First thing in the
before
morning.
leaving.
Yeah, like first thing, then you run, then coffee, then grocery store.
Okay, I was gonna ask because the band has been touring for about 5 years now. Is that right?
Yeah.
So have you sort of developed any tricks for how to stay healthier over the 5 years that you've toured as a band?
When we first started out, we had no money. We certainly weren't making any money on tour, and so we brought a little kitchen with us. We had a little stovetop, and we would go every day after we would load in and do sound check. We would go buy some groceries and set up in the club like a little kitchen and make food.
You bring like a burner with you or something like
Yeah,
that?
we'd bring
or?
a burner and a little like spice rack, and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was awesome.
So have you continued to do that, or?
No, we don't really have the same kind of time that we did then, and I think also we've all kind of acclimated our diets to not being able to cook as much. So, like I'll eat, fruit and nuts all day, and I'm happy to have a hot meal at night, but I don't need one in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know you also seem pretty excited about the Red Bull in the fridge. Do you rely on energy drinks to get you through the tour?
I just have I discovered Red Bull. I mean, I started drinking it very, very recently, and I'm guessing that this happens to a lot of people when they first discover energy drinks. I don't want to try any other ones, and I don't want to try any of the like Red Bull subgenres or alternatives or whatever. But I like that stuff. I don't think I'll let it last very long for me. But for right now, it's kind of fun, and I've been very tired lately, so it helps to have something, especially an alternative to coffee, because otherwise I'll drink coffee all day long every day. Yeah.
Okay. And so you said there are 3 more stops on this tour.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any cities of the 3 stops that you're really looking forward to in terms of the food you'll find there?
Yeah, and I was looking up the interviews that you'd done previously, and I'm pretty sure somebody mentioned one of the places, and I can't remember the name of it now, but it's a restaurant in Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
Oh.
That's really fantastic. It's a diner, and I remember I went there it's one of those places. We went there 4 or 5 years ago, and I still remember it.
Wow, this is a northeast tour then. The rest of the stops.
Yeah. We went as far west as Chicago.
Okay.
But we mostly stayed in the north. We went to Canada for a few days.
Okay, so is it mostly then? It sounds like it's going to co-ops, getting fresh food, and then maybe hitting spots you've been to before.
Or spots that friends recommend. It really depends. And I mean, and it depends on how much money we have, if there's a good recommendation, and if we have the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say that any particular band that you've toured with in the past has very good recommendations, or a band you would go to in particular for recommendations?
I mean, there are a few, certainly. Like there was, like in Montreal, we had breakfast at a place called La Vue Velo at the recommendation of a person a friend of mine named Jesse Stein, who plays in a band called the Luyas. They're from Montreal.
Yeah. Okay.
And my friends who play in a band called Indian Jewelry, and they also play in another band called Pleasure 2, I think. They've been touring for years, and they are healthy eaters. There's a lot of bands who are trying to be really health conscious on a budget in strange towns, so it definitely becomes a frequent topic of conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Um, well, I know that the band, or most of the members of the band, are from Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually don't know very much about the food scene in Baltimore. I know people talk about like the blue crab, so that's basically all I know. So if you were to have a friend visit you in Baltimore, where would you recommend that they would go to eat?
Well, certainly there are the crab shops, and
Any particular one that's especially good?
if I was going to have crabs in Baltimore, it would be a group of friends, and we would go buy the crabs from a place that sells crabs, and
Cook
not
them.
a restaurant because they charge you an arm and a leg. And their crab cakes are very good, but it's more fun to eat crabs, not crab cakes. It's much more fun. Um,
Just boiled and fresh.
Boiled, and then you toss them in a like a paper bag full of Old Bay,
Mm-hmm.
and then you put a bib on, and the whole thing. Um, and and then there's lake trout, which is like fried fish sandwiches. Those are all over Baltimore. But Baltimore has not, I grew up in Texas where people are obsessed with food. It is one of
Mm-hmm.
the main commodities available, and Baltimore is a poorer place, and so you just don't see very many like healthy food options. There are some like great Caribbean places. There's a really good juice shop. There's not. It's more like there are pockets of things instead of like a widespread food culture.
Yeah.
Uh, and one thing that was a benefit of that for me was that I didn't know a ton about cooking when I got there. I had moved from Houston where there was a lot of cheap good
Mm-hmm.
food all the time, and when I got to Baltimore, I learned to cook because I needed to, because otherwise I was going to not eat very healthily, and I think that's probably true for a lot of people in Baltimore.
Is there a particular type of cuisine that you enjoy cooking?
I really like to cook Indian food because I got a really good. There's a great there's a great grocery store near where I live now, and also near where I used to live. And it going in there even just to get samosas every day just kind of inspired me to want to to learn to cook Indian food, and I got a cookbook by a woman named Madhur Jaffrey,
Okay.
and who's an actress as well. And I think her story is something like she grew up not cooking, and then when she was older, she lived away from her family, so she asked her mom and her
Hmm.
grandma for recipes, and she compiled them, and it's great because it tells you about like the various regions of Indian cooking, and of India, that different kinds of cooking from it come from, and how they use spices, and how to prepare your spices. It goes into detail, so you end up instead of just instead of just going down a recipe and
You understand
mimicking the
the
steps,
culture around it.
you
Yeah.
understand, maybe not, even if you don't understand the culture around it, at least you understand kind of like why they're doing what they're
Mm.
doing with the food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cooking Indian food, I feel like it requires quite a bit of investment just because of the number of spices. Do you have like your own spice grinder then, or
Yeah, I have a mortar and pestle,
okay?
and I have yeah, and I have
You have to be pretty serious
30,
to,
40
yeah.
spices, like fresh spices. Yeah, but it's really incredibly satisfying,
Hmm.
And
It'd be hard to bring that spice rack on tour, I guess.
it would be hard, but I, if I thought that we had the time and the space for it, I would definitely give it a shot. And our drummer is when he's not a drummer, he's a cook. He's
Oh,
very
no
good.
way.
He's a very good cook. Yeah, so we talk about food a lot, and he is a big help in finding places to eat, finding recommendations.
Yeah.
One of the things that we bonded over. We had known each other for a while from working at a restaurant, actually, and when he was
In Baltimore?
in
Or
Baltimore.
what's the name of the restaurant?
It's called Golden West, and I was a bartender and he was a cook, and our bands went on tour together, and we discovered that we both had a very deep affection for barbecue. And so, as we toured together, we made sure to stop at as many like kind of classic barbecue places as we could.
What are some of the classic barbecue places? I mean, you're from Texas, you said.
I mean, barbecue in Texas is a really complicated and amazing thing in between the different cultures there. But we were stopping in places more in the deep south and
like Carolina style barbecue.
Carolina style, and we went to places in Atlanta and Alabama and Mississippi, and I don't think it was on that tour, but really recently, or more recently, not really recently, about 3 years ago, we went to, after he had joined the band, we went to Lockhart in Texas, where they have, 3 or 4 competing. It's like the home of Texas barbecue, quote unquote, and they
it's a town, not a particular restaurant.
It's a town.
Okay.
It's a town that exists
just for barbecue.
For in a lot of people's minds, it exists for barbecue, and you go there and there's there's the style where it's like literally just like meat and no sauce, and then there are other places where they do like kind of more the full shebang, the full smorgasbord type thing.
Any names of places in Lockhart that you would recommend?
There are 3 of them, and I'm going a little bit crazy, not being able to remember the third, but the other 2 are Smitty's and Black's.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then, let's see. There's another. I also like if we pulled him in here, he would be able to rattle off half a dozen of them, no problem. But I don't have as good of memories as he does. So.
Is he still a cook at the same restaurant, or is this a
no?
New restaurant? Do you want to give a shout out to that particular place?
I mean, we go there every once in a while to get a coffee or a taco because it's near our practice space. But
okay.
But none of us work there anymore.
Okay. All right. But he's still a cook, you said, or
he, no before while we were working on the record, he was still working as a line cook, but currently we're all doing this full time.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I just have one last question.
Okay.
If you were to order Lower Dens on a restaurant menu, it could be any type of restaurant you want it to be. What sort of dish would that be?
If our band was a food item?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. That seems like such a complicated question.
It is complicated. If you want to narrow it down to barbecue or any particular type of cuisine.
I mean, I think it depends on the time of the year and where we are. But I think right now it's just we're all about the fresh fruit.
Okay.
Can't get enough of like strawberries and blueberries and soon and apples and that kind of stuff and. And I eat bananas and coconut pretty much every day.
How do you bring coconut on tour?
I get it when I can. Pre-sliced or like at the Onion River. Yeah. Well, I do. I love to. It's really easy to open coconuts actually, but I love teaching kids how to open coconuts.
Do you need like a big knife to do that? Or?
No, you really don't. You need
what's the trick
a
to
sharp
open coconut then?
edge. Coconuts, you just need to find kind of. There's like a. The equator of the coconut, you like grip it on the sides, and you hit that line. You like turn the coconut and you hit that line against like the sharp edge of like a brick or something like that. And if you do that over and over again, eventually it starts to crack and you just pull it right open.
Yeah, right at the seam.
Yeah, I mean before that you have to like put a corkscrew into one of the holes so you can like drain the milk out so you don't lose that.
Yeah.
But it's quite easy to do.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but right now I have I miss the Waitrose because they had fresh coconut every day, but right now I'm eating like at the Onion River co-op I got chocolate covered coconut pieces.
Oh
my god. It's the best thing.
I recently discovered, I know this isn't going to be as good as getting at a co-op, but Trader Joe's has a version of almond covered. It's like almonds covered in coconut covered in dark chocolate.
Oh my
that is
God.
Really good.
That's
actually.
too much. That's too much.
Sorry, so back to what Lower Dens would be as a dish. You mentioned, would it be like a fruit plate then, or a fruit
I don't know, just like a table of fruit. Table with fruit on it. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Maybe it would be a pie. Maybe it would be a banana cream pie.
Okay.
Sure, let's say Lower Dens would be a banana cream pie.
Okay.
That sounds pretty good.
All right. Well, did you have any other final thoughts about food or anything you want to say before we wrap up?
I guess it just this conversation makes me think about uh, how things that grow simply from the earth should be more available to people. Well, you know, like when I talk about food in Baltimore, I just wish that's what was available there, and I wish it wasn't so expensive. I wish you didn't have to go to Whole Foods just to buy food that was like untainted, and good for you. And it seems like we're always paying more for that instead of, and it seems like such a backward thing that people have to pay for that, and that processed food that's processed almost to the point of uselessness is what is available to people who don't have money and don't have access.
Right.
And traveling around the country and around the world will really make you think more and more about that, about how in other cultures they make people and their nutrition a priority, and we don't.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.